The most important step in an actor's career. Hey everyone, I'm Matthew Cornwell with Get Taped here in Atlanta, Georgia, one of Atlanta's original audition taping services, which I co-own with my amazing, talented, beautiful wife, Brooke. Right on cue. And now on to our topic. The most important step in an actor's career. At the beginning of every actor's career, you're in a necessary position of deference. That is to say, when you go to class, you defer to the wisdom of the teacher. When you get your first agent, you defer to their wisdom. When you get on your first set, you defer to the wisdom of the base camp PA, the second AD, the first AD, the director, the script supervisor, the craft services department. And rightfully so. When you're brand new to each of these stages of your career, you should be in a posture of learning, taking in as much new knowledge as possible. Now, let me say right here, you should continue that posture of learning forever. You should never be done with learning. You should maintain a growth mindset that reminds you that there's always something new to learn, and there's always room to grow. That said, despite this posture of learning, this growth mindset, there's a transition that every actor must go through in order to have a long-term sustainable career. And that is self-sufficiency. And let me expound upon this idea. We see it first and foremost at Get Taped, our audition taping service here in Atlanta. Let's say an actor does 3 or 4 takes for an under 5 co-star audition, or even a guest star audition. And after they've reviewed all of their takes, they turn to us, Brooke or myself, and ask us to determine which is their best take. And oftentimes, from our perspective, they're all the same. Let me use an analogy. I drew these 3 Spider-Man heads very quickly, so they're all sketches. Now, they each represent what I could do if I was hired to draw the finished product. You see the parallel here? These are like audition takes. And the finished product would be the full drawing of Spider-Man once I would have more information about my character and the overall story. But for the audition, all they needed was the head. So which of these should I submit? To you, the objective observer, they're all the same, right? I mean, none of them are really appreciably better or different than the next. And yet I could sit here and tell you that on this one right here, I don't like this eye and how the line just isn't quite great. Or I could say in this one, oh, you see how one of those lines goes outside the circle of the head? But again, to you, when you look at all 3 of these, they're exactly the same. What's important is the consistency. All 3 of them represent my unique style. You see, I'm not trying to copy the great Jim Lee or Todd McFarlane, which are artists that I really appreciated back in the 90s. This is my unique drawing style. It's my authentic take on the character. See the parallel once again? So in the end, it doesn't matter which of these 3 sketches, I submit. However, actors will scrutinize over how they felt about this line delivery or that line delivery when casting has no idea and quite frankly doesn't care about how you felt about each line delivery. So what does this have to do with self-sufficiency? Well, until you can approach your art with more confidence, you'll always be seeking the approval of others. And although Brooke and I have been doing this for decades and have a combined 120 plus credits on IMDb together, we don't know which is the best take to send, especially when, like those Spider-Man sketches, they're all the same. This is your art. You need to become self-sufficient enough to understand that all 3 sketches, or all 3 takes, are exactly the same from the perspective of casting, and that you, in the end, need to be able to decide which take to send. You need to feel confident that what they want is just a myth. You're never trying to approximate what you think they want. You are confidently presenting your signature performance as a solution to their casting needs. And incidentally, when you book, yay! You need to bring that same confidence and self-sufficiency to set. For context, Brooke just directed me in a project that I created and co-wrote. And by the way, she did amazing. So when it came to cast all of the roles in our project, we didn't want to just find actors who were talented, but, spoiler alert, we wanted to find actors who were self-sufficient. Because there are a ton of talented actors here in the Southeast alone, but we needed actors who could be self-sufficient when they were on set. And you better believe that's who we got. Every single actor we hired was a collaborator. They brought their own ideas to the role. They took ownership over each of those roles and created a product collectively that we can all be proud of. Because if Brooke, as the director, had to handhold any of those actors through their performances, well, then it would delay production, which is something you can't afford when you're working on a small budget. By the way, that's a still frame from our project. Are you starting to see the big picture? You need to become that self-sufficient actor ASAP if you want to be one of those actors that directors want to work with again. Or if you want to be that actor that's a go-to or an ace in the hole for a casting office. Or if you want to be the kind of actor that starts out as a one-episode co-star and ends up as a recurring guest star on the same show because they loved you so darn much that they expanded your role. So how do you gain it? Well, putting in your 10,000 hours in the classroom is a great start. Because, side note, relying on auditions to be your training ground is very dangerous because you don't have anybody giving you feedback and you can end up making a lot of ill-advised choices. The other great way to start building this confidence and this self-sufficiency is to get on low-pressure sets like indie films, weekend contests, short films, music videos, or other projects where the stakes just aren't as high as when you're on a $100 million budget feature. Oh gosh, I have so much more to say about this topic. So, if you want to continue the discussion, please leave a comment below or email us. That's it for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on set.